Well, good morning. Last week we went into evolution. We talked about evolution, how it relates to science. We got into a little bit of carbon-14, and then I noticed we had a lot of codfish looks. That's it. So, what I'm going to regroup and go back to why are we learning all this stuff about evolution, carbon-14, dating, maybe even the Quran, the Hadith, Pearl of Great Price, Doctrines and Covenants, Book of Mormon. Oh my God, sacrilege. Because our job is to learn the language of those that haven't been saved so that we can give them what they need in the way they best receive it. Because it's not about us. But that's a hard concept, especially for a lot of Christians to grasp, is, look, I got it. I understand. I don't need all that carbon-14 stuff. I don't need all that stuff. I don't need that evolution stuff. I got it. I believe the word. You believe, but it's not about you. It's about what you're going to give to someone else in the way they receive that message best. So are we okay with saying that? So let's go with Paul, who is pretty good at this stuff. And anything I say, we always back up with Scripture. That's the way I like to work things. There's not going to be anything up there except for that blue screen this week. Maybe. No, I'm kidding. 1 Corinthians 9:19. If you got a Bible, you can turn there. And today's a little different than our roundtable session because I wanted to get some things to you in a teaching way so we can get back to the roundtables. For though I am free from all men, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might gain the more. And unto Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jew. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. To them that are without the law, as without the law, that I might gain them that are without the law. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. And this is what I do for the gospel's sake. And he goes on. So the idea is we are supposed to walk as Paul walked, as Jesus walked, as servants. And in that place is shalom. In that place is all blessing. See, the problem we have is we're trying to go get ours. And when we try to go get ours, we always seem to fall short. We always seem to get 5-yard line in it. We ain't scoring a touchdown. Always just something happens because we're not on purpose. Because we're not doing, God wishes that none should perish and fall short of the glory of God. So it's our job as Christians, the ecclesia, the called out ones, to learn the ways of the world so that we can speak to the world in the best way they receive the truth. Are we okay with that? This is the hardest job you'll ever have in your life, is not being about you, because that's not the way we're trained in the world. If you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. Yet, who is our provider? It says in Proverbs 19:21, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. It's that purpose that accomplishes things of value. It's the purpose of the Lord in your life that has value. Man has many plans, and that's okay if you got plans, and you move in that plan. Be able to be directed. Be able to be steered. The word says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. The word delight means make yourself moldable and pliable. So isn't that serious? When I looked that up, I was like, that's amazing. Delight yourself, not just be happy. It means make yourself moldable and pliable so that he can shape you into the vessel he needs for the thing you've been called to do. For the tool, you're his hands and feet, so that you can do the thing you are called to do. And in that place is all health, wealth, prosperity, peace, and joy. Shalom. In that place. So we keep pursuing, as soon as I make the money, then I'm going to do the thing. Instead of doing the thing where the money's all laid up. Does that make sense? It's a backwards, upside down way the world does it than the way the kingdom does it. So dare to ask, why am I here? They're to sit on top of God's lap and say, why am I here? What is my purpose? What are my functions? And there's many tools to do that. There's talent and strength finder tests. There's 15 questions to purpose. There's a lot of tools that can help you find out why you are here, and it's never too late because God's the redeemer of time. So we can't say, well, I'm 80 and I can't change. Pfft. As soon as you get on purpose, all the stuff that was laid up at your 80-year mark is now all of a sudden it's overwhelming. You get boom, 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 boom. It's amazing how it works. I have to tell a personal story, just a little one. The reason I'm telling this is to help teach you what I've been called to empower people. That's my goal, my job. And I don't just empower regular folk, I empower leaders. And so the other day, last week, some guy came in here. I just shook his hand, greeted him. How are you? He sat down. Well, he turned out to be the chaplain over at the Phoenix Cardinals. And so he asked, Pastor, who is that guy that greeted me when I came in the door? He said, well, that's Nick Castellano. He does life coach. Life coach? I need a life coach. So one thing leads to another. I'm over there on Friday doing an interview with him. But even to say more than that, I was in the gym and I said, yeah, to one of my buddies, he's a Christian, he's a Jewish Christian. I said, I'm going to interview for this life coach. He said, hold on a second, let me give you a couple of numbers. He has a phone number for the Giants, New York Giants chaplain, and he's got the phone number for the guy that's in charge of all security for the Cardinals. Call the guy with all security. He talks to me for a half hour. He says, I want to meet you before you go into the thing with him, so come over at 10:30. And the other guy says, he gave me 45 minutes on what the NFL needs for these gentlemen that all of a sudden have money that never had money before. So 45 minutes with this Giants dude on the phone, favor, right? Doing the thing you've been called to do. Half hour with this other guy, then I go in early. He and I, the security guy, hit it off great. He walks me down to the office with Anthony and says, you need to have this guy. This guy's awesome. That's how I start my meeting. So it's just so amazing. So at the end of it, he says, yes, we want you as a life coach. Da, 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 da. So I'll be life coaching the Cardinals because we're no respecter of persons. Doesn't matter to me what they do, but it does matter to me that I can help them because they are influencers of many kids. And it's about the kingdom. So in that purpose, the door just flew open because I wasn't looking to be a Cardinal life coach. That was definitely not what I was looking to do. That was not anywhere on any of my lists. But I was willing to walk through the door when it opened. So I'm saying, look for those opportunities. But the only place you're going to find those is when you're doing the thing you've been called to do. Mine is empowerment. So, let me get here. So this is why we touch on quantum physics, science, carbon-14, all this other stuff. It's because we got to be able to speak their language. The good thing about me is I'm a big dude. A big dude is good for the football players. They don't want to talk to some Casper Milquetoast about how they're supposed to do stuff in life. They want to talk to some guy 6'4", 265. Yeah, okay, he might know something maybe, because at least he kind of looks like me. Why? Rapport. Really, all people prefer others resembling themselves. Rapport. Really, all people prefer others resembling themselves. So your job, if you will, is to establish a rapport with whoever you've been put in front of to give a message to. And I want to be true to me. I'm not going to be all things to all people. I'm going to be who I am. And the heck with them. No, wrong attitude. Your job is to be all things to all people. Your job is to conform yourself to their ways so that you can speak to them. To be weak when they're weak. To be strong to the strong. I love the strong. When I'm in sales or when I'm helping people and they're powerful, I love that because I can be powerful back. And they receive it. But when I'm talking to, say, a lady that's a toucher-feeler, I have to get quiet. I have to speak in a language that she can receive. Or else I'll be that dad that yelled at her when she was a kid, and I won't have any value for her. I can't get her what she needs because it's not about me. So the key is learning how to be all things to all people. But in this thing, and we're going to teach today how do I read body language? How do I become all things to all people? How do I actually do this thing, Nick, that you're talking about? So I'll give you some tools that'll help you in your personal life, and it'll help you in your life in the kingdom of God so that you can get things to these people. Whatever it is you've been called to give them. They wouldn't be in your life if you weren't called to give them something. Okay? And they're probably going to give you something right back. That's what it is. The monetary unit of the kingdom of God is relationship. Love God with all your heart, soul, and might. Love your neighbor as yourself. You are the conduit for both of those things. So we've got to be in alignment with Papa God in the now moment with I am, and we magnify him for everyone else. We okay with that? Have I said anything weird yet? Okay. Why wealth, health, prosperity, peace, and joy, and shalom? Deuteronomy 8:18. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish, this is why, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is in this day. So, wealth is not about you. Wealth is not about me. Wealth, health, prosperity, peace, and joy are not about either one of us. It's about his establishing his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers as it is this day. Because when you have wealth, you're an influencer. The world will look at you. You can influence one way or another. They'll listen to you because you look like a man that knows. How much influence is a broke Christian going to have on a wealthy businessman? Zip. How much influence is a wealthy Christian going to have on a wealthy businessman that's going through pain? A lot. Because really all people prefer others resembling themselves. He must have got something right. He's got money. He did something right. I'll go ahead and listen to the dude because I'm in pain. Does that make sense? So the only person that you're edifying in poverty is you. That's an all-about-you scenario. The only thing worse than poverty is suicide. I'm being hard now, but suicide is so narcissistic. It's so self-absorbed. Me, my, woe is me. If you ever want to get out of that place, go help somebody. Go to the hospital. Go find someone worse off than you. And you'll find that's freeing. That all of a sudden you become about them. And then there's this endorphin release inside you, and you feel good because you're doing what you've been called to do. Because it ain't about you. I'm giving you the key to prosperity. Health, wealth, prosperity, peace, and joy is finding that not about you place that you were created for to do the thing you've been called to do. Are we okay with that? So, Proverbs 28:27, he that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. Now, God didn't curse him, but he set it all up. You can pretend like you don't see, you see. If you don't have, give. That don't make sense. I need. Yeah. By the measure that you give, you receive. But if you want to really mess yourself up, judge. Guess what comes back? By the measure you judge, you shall be judged. It's the way the whole thing's set up. I need love. Go love somebody. And guess what you get back? It's not by accident. You made a conscious choice to stop thinking about poor me, get out of me, and get into what you can do where you're at for someone else, and guess what comes back? And then guess what you do for yourself? You love you. And then your whole physical energy raises. Now, when your energy raises and now you're in peace, love, and joy, what comes back to you? More things that bring peace, love, and joy. All of a sudden, now you're going to have wealth, health, prosperity. Good things are happening. Why? Because you're in that place. Because what did you do first? Think about someone else. And then you can give more. Can't outgive the Lord. And you can give more and more and more. And it's not about money. I'm talking about of self. Well, he's trying to take from me. Stop. We're only here for a short time. And what we do here is going to affect us for all eternity. If you can look on that, take that step back and look on yourself as this short little window, this little wisp of steam time that we have, and we'll be judged based on what we did in this wisp of steam time for all eternity, attitudes change. Here's the hard thing. I don't want to go back to college and study. Tough. Go. Because if you know you're supposed to do the thing you're supposed to do, go back to school and be excellent at the thing, and God will put his super on top of that natural. We're settling for mediocrity when we're supposed to be the salt and the light leading this planet right now. And we cannot settle for mediocrity any longer. The world is falling apart. Who was given all power, dominion, and authority? I was, through Christ Jesus. Whose fault is this? Me. Why? I've abdicated my position of leadership. So you can't blame nobody but us. But we can change it just with a heart shift. Being all about somebody else. Being all about their needs. When I was in Syria, breaking it up a little bit, when I was in Syria, my rep, Ali Mohammed, kept getting upset that while I'm out in the oil fields, these guys kept talking to me about Bible, things like that, and I'd read the Quran and the Hadith, and so I was talking to them back. So Ali's like, he come after like the third day of this, Mr. Nick, I am so tired. Come here. You keep talking about this Christian stuff. Come, I want to take you to a friend. So we got in the car, we drove, and he's taking me to this Ayatollah. We go into this place, there's a guy sitting there, and we start talking back and forth. And he's talking to me with this Ayatollah. Well, this Ayatollah understands, because I can speak his language, that I've read the Quran, that I've read the Hadith. I understand where he's coming from. The common link between the Christian and the Muslim is Isa, Jesus. Isa ben Mariam, Jesus, son of Mary. That's the link. He's the only sinless man that ever walked this planet, according to the Muslims. Okay, so he's a sinless man, born of a virgin. They went whole body up into heaven. Let's focus on those things. That's what they believe. They just don't believe a man with all that power, dominion, and authority will allow himself to be crucified. They can't understand grace. But they cry out for Papa, Allah, for them. So we talked. He says, you are very smart. You understand my ways. I said to him, the only thing I hear is that you need Papa, Allah. Yes, but he is a big God. I said, yes, he's a big God. I said, but you know, when I clothe myself in the righteousness of Isa, I can go boldly before the throne. I left that. He goes, I must think on this. And we left. So we leave. Ali Muhammad goes, Mr. Nick, I believe what you say about Jesus, Isa. He goes, how do I become a Christian? So we said a prayer, and he goes, now I have to go to a Christian church? I said, no. Take this truth back to the temple. They'll believe you, because really all people prefer others resembling themselves. It's not about him going to a church. It's about him taking that word out to the place where he has influence and teaching them the truth. So that was an opportunity in the oil fields where I had, because I was doing the thing I was called to do, meeting with very uncomfortable Ayatollah. I met with princes and kings before, and being okay with that you represent the kingdom at that point, but you've got to be well armed. Don't be afraid to read the Book of Mormon. There's Mormons everywhere here. Read it. Read the Pearl of Great Price. Read the Doctrines and Covenants. Understand what they're saying so you can create a common union. See, communication, process of creating common union. And they ain't going to change, so it's up to us to change. Does that make sense? Know their ways. Look like them. When I'm in sales and I'm sitting down and I'm talking to somebody, I listen to what language are they speaking. What does that mean? Well, many people speak feel language. Feel. You can hear them. Well, what I feel. You know, I'm feeling that. You know, I feel that we should feel language. Some people think language. I think that we should, thinking about this, I think men like this language, think language. Visionaries use this language, see. What I see, when I'm hearing this, I'm seeing, okay, so when you hear the clue, because you got 2 ears, so you can hear twice as much as you speak, right? So you hear them say, feel, you speak in feel language. Yeah, I'm feeling you. I feel what you're saying. And typically a feel person is a bit softer. So your tonality will be a bit softer. Because really all people prefer others resembling themselves. Rapport. In the think, you're think. I think you're exactly right. And we're just thinking back and forth, back and forth. Think. See, creative people. What I see, and you're going to use see language. It helps you, especially when you're dealing with even children, kids. Be where they're at. If they're in feel and you're in think, you are not communicating. Does that make sense? When I'm over in Japan, I don't speak Japanese, a couple of words. But I do feel Japanese. When I speak like this to the Japanese. Because they speak like, so I speak like this when I'm talking to the Japanese about what I've got to tell them about the oil fields. And I pause, just like that. And they don't even know. But they like me. But when I'm in China, they're more boing bai. So when I'm talking to the Chinese, I kind of talk with a lilting tone because they like to talk with a lilting tone. So even though I have a translator, I talk with and they like me. Because it's my job to be more like them if I've got something I believe in that I'm trying to get to them. Okay? So you can be all day right, but you're not communicating because you haven't established a common union, and you don't really prefer, all people prefer others resembling themselves. You don't resemble them. I don't care, I'm not changing for nobody. How's that helping the kingdom out? How's that helping you out? Well, relationship is a monetary unit of the kingdom of God. The more relationships you have, if I didn't have a relationship with Andy, I never would have got a call to the guy with the Giants. I never would have got a call with the guy at the Cardinals, and I never had an opportunity to do anything with the Cardinals if it wasn't for relationship. I'm just going to worry about me and mine. You're going to go broke. Very simple. And when all heck's breaking loose and the wind and the waves are coming against you, who's going to help you out? That's when you're going to be crying, Jesus, help me. But it's the as one attitude that makes us strong. When we come together as one, when my concern is you, and your concern is you, and your concern is you, that's when we're strong, because we're out of ourselves. Okay? So, what time is it, dog? We're good? Cool. Well, I want to get into some of this stuff. So I gave you a little bit, and I've got so much that I have to skip, if you will. But the key points I wanted to say was that wealth comes from purpose, from doing the thing you're called to do, and it ain't about you. It's about others. If you're constantly, well, what about me? What about mine? I don't have. Get ready for more I don't have. You're creating it in your life. Everything might not be right in my life right now, but what can I do for someone else? And you know what happens? Someone else is thinking the same thing about you. Because God is your provider, not you. Does that make sense? So if God is my provider, no man can touch me. So I'm here to do what He'd called me to do to help others. Love God, love my neighbor. See, there was a Samaritan. Right? We all know the story of the Samaritan. The priest looked away. Right? He didn't even see it. I don't even see nothing. No, I'm sorry you got beat up, dude. I don't see nothing. Who's the other guy? The Levite, he looked the other way. I don't see nothing. The Samaritan, and what did he do? Picked him up, cleaned him up, dressed his wounds, gave him some wine, took him to a hotel, put him up, paid for it. Why? Because he had money. And then said, if he needs anything else, I'll be back again and I'll pay. That's where you're helping your neighbor. So I looked up the word neighbor. What is neighbor? Well, it starts with any man. Then it says Christian, brother, friend. Anyone is your neighbor. Now in quantum physics, we're all connected. So if you do worse in life, then I've done worse in life. So if I succeed at the cost of you, the overall effect is nothing. We're the same. But if a leader succeeds and he elevates more people with him, then the overall effect is a gain. The world teaches us that we've got to hold others down so that we can elevate on those bodies. That's not the right way. It's instilling, creating identity, value, and uplifting so that we all gain. Okay? So let's learn some techniques. We talked a little bit about feeling, thinking, and seeing. And here's the unfortunate part when you're doing your counseling and you're helping people out. Typically, only 20% of the time do they want to change because of pleasure. 80% of the time, they're looking for a change because of pain. Pain is the great teacher. Pain is the great humbler. Pain is the great time when people reach out. And will you be ready to reach out in the way they can best receive information when they're in pain is the question. Okay? 80% of the time, it's pain. So, there's a couple of techniques. And we're going to do some body language checks. First, we're going to use the face. Let's read the face. Watch the eyes. The eyes are the window to the... Oh, they knew something, didn't they, when they said that. So let's say, we talked about communication. 10% of communication, just so you know, is through the spoken word. 10% is through the spoken word. So when you're texting somebody, and you're not angry with them, and they go, why are you so mad? And you go, well, what are you talking about? I'm not mad, I just text you something. Or if you're trying to convey a madness on it, they don't even see it. Now you're really mad because you didn't get the reaction you wanted from them because you text them because only 10% is from the spoken word or from the words. 30% is from vocal tonality, and 60% is from facial and body expressions. So if I talk like this all the time and I have some really exciting news for you to hear and I'm really going to talk like this, I know how excited you're going to be to hear me talk like this all the time, aren't you? Really, it's really amazing stuff, isn't it? No. You're bored to death, right? Exactly. But if I learn how to get quieter when I have a real important point, and then all of a sudden I want to stick something into you. So I lean forward, you'll get it. You'll go, wait, he's attacking me. What did he just say? It snapped you out of your wherever you were in Never Never Land. So 10% spoken word, 30% vocal tonality, 60% facial and body expressions. So we'll start with the face. This is your right side, or their right side. This is the left. So if their eyes are up and to the right, they are visually creating. Why are we learning this? Well, we're learning this so we can know what to disregard and what's truth inside them. Because people always hide their pain. They'll tell you a piece of it, but they're not telling you the real thing. As a matter of fact, they may not even see it themselves. So your job is to help them by knowing when they're even, lying to themselves. So, up and to the right, let me see. What I saw was this guy, and you're visually creating some stuff. Now, artists do this all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it, because they're creating a new picture, a new thing. But when your kid tells you, oh yeah, and then Johnny, he hit me really hard. Well, I ain't buying it, because your eyes are up. My wife has a little poster up on her cabinet so that she'll look at it before she talks to Victor so that she can know where's he really coming from, to help him stay the course. Visually creating. Look at politicians. They really work hard to keep their eyes straight ahead because they don't want to tell you they're lying. What's that? What'd you say, baby? They're lit? All right. This is creating what you've heard. Your eyes are to the right. Yeah, he said that he really didn't like you very much at all, and creating what they've heard. Okay? And this is creating what they feel. I see this all the time in those mothers that lose kids. And they were probably part of it. And I watch them on the news, and they're down here like this. Oh, yes, I'm so sad. I was so emotional about it. They're not emotional. They're not sad. They're lying. That's what the FBI uses. This is their technique. This is their technique to find out what you're really saying, what's truth, what's not truth. It's a big tool, but in the right hands, it's a very good tool so that you can help people stay the course. Visually, this is remembering. To the left, eyes to the left, remembering what you saw. Yeah, and you'll see it in movies. Yeah, what he did was and they're remembering the picture they saw. This is remembering what they heard. Okay? And the bottom right here is feeling or also self-talk. You know, you're trying to get yourself through, well, what the heck's going on? Yeah, I don't know, why did I do that? I have no idea why I did that. That's real stuff. It's self-talk. So just from the eye position, if you're really paying attention to somebody and you're not into you, and you're not just waiting for them to breathe so that you can give them your pearl of wisdom, and you're actually listening, I mean, that's my family's way of communicating. Don't breathe, because I will talk. When I say my family, I mean back home in Virginia. 6 kids, all Italian. As soon as you breathe, you've lost your opportunity. Because someone else has got something more important to say than what you got to say. And another thing, well, you know, Jake, I lost it. I breathed. So we learn how to talk a long way without breathing, or breathe while you're talking, which is an amazing thing. So any questions on this? This is a great tool. Write this down. Use this for yourself. Now, another thing you've got to be able to read is body language. We'll just go with this, eyes. We did a little bit of eyes. Direct eye contact with a smiling eye. These cyclonic muscles are kind of up in the eye, and they're looking like a little friendly. To people, that means confidence. And if you can get that position where you can look like that, with, you know, just that little look, oh, he knows who he is. He knows he knows. He's a good man. I like that guy. Learn, practice in the mirror to look like that, because when you walk in with that air about you, you change the energy in a room. You've become the energy in the room. Who's that guy? Well, it's just a dude. No, look at him. They don't even know what he's looking at. It's that look in your eye. He's got a relaxed brow. Negative, limited or no eye contact, tension in the brow. Mouth, if it's upturned and the lips relaxed, they're comfortable with you. Downturned mouth, pressed together, they're not very comfortable with you. You know, they're not real comfortable at all because they're afraid of what they might say. Here's another one, eyes. You'll notice that eye squints. That's letting information in. They don't believe a word you're saying, like Dave's doing to me right now. See, this is our intellectual side. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to let that into my conscious right now. And he's squinting it, and he's closing it down. But what happens when a bomb goes off? Information, information, information. Give me information, give me information. Eyes are wide open. Give me everything you got. So that's how you can tell, do you have someone's attention or not have someone's attention? They believe in what you're saying, or they not believe in what you're saying? Watch the eyes. Yes, sir. Yep, I do. Exactly. Pastor said this guy is full of. That's for the tape. I'll try to go a little bit quicker. Okay, let's talk about the legs real quick. If your right leg is over your left leg, you're intellectually closed. And this is just a notice. It doesn't mean you're doing this on purpose. It's just the position you're at. Right over left, intellectually closed. So I hear what you're saying, but I ain't receiving none of it. Left over right, emotionally closed. Left over right, emotionally closed. Now, why? It doesn't mean you're doing it intentionally. It just means you can control your feelings in that emotionally closed position. My job would be, and you read from the bottom up. If you're reading a person, you read from the bottom up. So like you'd be emotionally closed right now, which is okay. I'm not saying there's no judgment in it one way or another. There would be a notice for me. But the only way you can get someone to receive what you've got to say is an open position. Legs open like this, okay? So if I saw you in that position, I would come over there to you. I would sit down in front of you. I would put my left leg over my right leg, and I would start speaking to you in the same term you did. Same volume, same language, feel, think, or see. This is called mirroring. It's a good technique. And we're talking to each other, and we're talking to each other. And all of a sudden, she's starting to realize, I kind of like him. I'm starting to trust him. Really, all people prefer others resembling themselves. I look just like her now. I'm speaking just like her now. And what she'll do is she'll just say, all of a sudden she's become part of me. We're moving together. We're moving together. Then I open my leg. I'm like this. And then I go, well, and I'm making a point, very nonchalant. And she'll do the same. She'll open. Now she can receive what I've got to give her. I've watched people do this in some of our classes. And as soon as they open up, they start to cry. Now, I'm not saying that's you, but I'm saying because they were holding something back and they didn't want to cry, so they were left over right, holding that emotion back. As soon as they opened up, boom, started to cry. Because then now it's your opportunity to walk them through what's going on. Right arm over left, intellectually closed. I ain't buying that stuff. Left over right, well, I was just cold. I understand you're just cold, but you're also shielding out the information. Your body language is shielding out the information. Left over right, which I can't do very well, is emotionally closed. So you're shielding out any of the feelings that you might have with this, okay? If you see the upper teeth, they're not listening. They're waiting for you to breathe so they can speak. If you just see the upper teeth, if you see the lower teeth, codfish, but they're receiving. They're receiving information. If you see both sets of teeth, you got a good information. Like in the old days when they actually used to give news on TV, all you saw was the upper teeth. Because all they were doing was giving information. 15,000 died today in a bomb. They're saying horrible things, but they can't let it go through their brain or else they'd be crying on the floor. So they're just giving information from the eye to the mouth. Does that make sense? So there's one other thing I want to teach about, but I don't think I'm going to have time. I got 5 minutes. So it's all about mirroring and matching to take them, understand where they're at, don't judge. Okay, they're closed intellectually right now, got it. How do I take them from the place of being closed intellectually to a place where they can receive information from me and we can start communicating together? That's mirroring and matching. That's when you start speaking the way they speak, using the words they use, looking like them, speaking like them, and then you can get them what they need. Because they'll open up and you'll open up. And you'll have the opportunity to put in them what they need, not beat them over the head with the Bible. Does that make sense? So here's a little thing I call the truth funnel. Truth funnel. It's a way to help someone get to the truth. He said as he closed intellectually. They're obviously talking to you for a reason, and you're in their life for a reason. Know that. Nothing just happened there by accident. Every relationship is an opportunity. So here's a way, you know they're going through some kind of a pain. You go, and this is all about listening. First question would be, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. The idea is to keep them talking, not you talking, telling them what great pearls of wisdom you've got spewing out of your face. It's listening, especially when it comes to, I found in my short time here, when it comes to ladies, they don't want you solving their problems. They want you to empathize and listen. And then, you know, because sometimes my wife will say, here's something going on. Okay, am I supposed to solve this one or am I just listening? You're listening. Cool. And I listen. Because we are problem solvers, males typically. You know, we want to, hey, just do that. Oh, then my stuff has no value? You don't want to hear where I'm coming from? You know, and men just stepped on a landmine, not even know they stepped on a landmine. So you learn when it's time to do that and when it's time to listen. Can you be a bit more specific is the second question. So now that they've said, tell me more about that, can you be a bit more specific? What's really going on? And you're doing this from a heartfelt place. Now, how long has this been a problem? Next question. Well, when do we have to solve this? When does this have to be solved by? Next question. And if you'd like this, I can email it to you guys. So you don't have to, I know I'm kind of fast, but I got like 1 minute. What have you tried in the past to solve this problem? Now they're going to take you through it. See, you're opening up doors. They're taking you through what's going on, where it came from, what's happening. And you go, and that worked? Oh, no, it didn't work. That's why I'm here. But you say it sweetly. You don't go, and that worked, idiot. And that worked. And they'll keep talking. How much do you suppose this is costing you in your life? Now you're really making it real. See, you're bringing this thing to the surface, so they've got only two choices. They've got to deal with this thing one way or another, or they're going to bury it again. And then we go around the mountain again. See, that's what our choices are in life. We can either, when an ite comes up from your promised land, Hittites, Amorites, Jebusite, and you see the ite, you can choose to deal with it and crush it, or you can choose to cut a deal with it and allow it to live in your promised land and go around the mountain again. You got two choices. Which one are you going to do? And when you choose to make a deal with it, it's what's going to bring you down, just like it did with Joshua. So, how does this make you feel? By now they're in feeling, they're open, because you've done the mirroring and matching. Have you given up trying to solve this? Go ahead, you got a question? Yep. Mm-hmm. No, but no, not like that. I've seen many ladies with real short skirts that are like this. You know, they're like this. This is open. This is okay. I'm not talking about some weirdo thing. Have you given up trying to solve this problem? What happens if you don't get this fixed is the next question. And then you ask the hardest thing for a guy to do. What would you like me to do? Because now they see, what you're really doing is allowing them to solve it themselves. You're walking them through it. But what would you like me to do? Because we always have the answers instead of listening and letting them get the answer. It's easy to give an answer, but when you let someone figure out their own answer, now it's a change in their brain pattern. They are a new creature when they figure out a new way to solve that problem. These questions help them with that. And with that, you've got the problem, the reason, the impact on self, and the consequences if you ask these questions. And right after you say, what would you like me to do? No talking. Let them do the first talk. Even if it's awkward, 5 minutes. They'll come to the answer. They know the answer. I do that as a little technique a lot of times. People will say, well, you know, I don't know. Okay. Well, if you did know, what would you say? Well, I'd just say this. Oh, because you knew. But people don't want to be wrong. So they won't give it to you. And then you make it like it's no big deal. Well, you know, but if you did know, what would it be? Well, it'd be this. And they'll tell you. It's a little technique you can learn. That's a crash course in body language and reading faces. But I think if you got anything out of this, it can really help you with your communication. But the reason we did it today is to understand this is why we're learning some of this stuff. And it's not just for us. Why are we learning about carbon-14 testing? Why are we learning about evolution? Why are we learning about these things that we're going through so that we can be an influencer, speaking the language of the people out there in the world so that we can help them get to the truth of Christ. Is that okay? And in that place, you guys will see health, wealth, prosperity, peace, and joy. Shalom. Thank you.